but they're out there, and they're still out there, and I couldn't believe the people that would just tell me things and offer their service. We're going to do this for you for X amount of dollars, okay, and I would pay them, and
Nothing.
I wouldn't get my product back that I wanted. And I was like, well, how does this work? But they were so used to being this way. I would call them up and talk to them. Oh, well, the next one I'll do it for you. It was just so like matter of fact.
Difficult, because even if you had a reputable company and someone who has, let's say, oh, I have Aerosmith and I have so and so and I have so and so, that's great, that's wonderful. But those are three unique, top of the stars. The rest of the people coming in the front door, people that are working their way up the first flight of stairs, are all there, and they could be getting completely different treatment, which is kind of like what you said. Yeah, we'll put you on one of 27 artists, and if one of you guys make it, we'll have you for life.
Exactly. So I think it's hard to weed through. That's why I said get advice, free advice. I always said that don't pay for it.
Right.
That's consulting. That's different.
Sure.
They can't have anything for. Now
And
you
they
can
just
listen.
try to extend the hours.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's like not that you shouldn't do that, or if you can. I'm
Right.
just saying that free advice is good of someone who went through it, because number one, you can listen to it. You can say, well, okay, I'm a little bit different, but I'm going to remember this. So when this situation comes up, like somebody comes out and says, oh, well, you're going to put this show on, I'm going to do this for you. A lot of that promotion you can do yourself.
Right.
And it's just like anything else, but the industry's all the same. It's a lot about always money. I mean, I used to have a joke when we used to come up and people would debut number one on the Billboard. How do you do that? How do you debut number one? It's like I thought you were supposed to get on the Billboard charts and the more plays. All of a sudden, these people would start coming out like in the late 80s and 90s. I remember this. And they're debuting in number one. How does that happen? How do you debut when no one's ever heard your song, but you're number one? It's just like it's like sometimes you see the bestseller list of anything. Books, same thing. Oh, they're number one. How? Nobody read your book.
That's interesting, and that's that's who owns that, who's promoting it, whose best interest does it serve. If you're the top 10 on the XYZ 100, and the XYZ 100 just happens to be a promotional company for the band that's all of a sudden debuting on
Right.
number one, it's like, those are a little bit of like the strings that are attached.
I understand it. That's business. That's the way it always is.
Sure.
I get it. But I just feel I always felt that it was funny that's how it would always presented to us.
Yeah.
Oh, you debut. Right out of the gate, you're number one.
Now, did you find that? So you have the theater, the bands and things. Are they similar themes in the? Put this all on the artistic or artist or creator of original content world. Is it pretty much similar whether you're a painter or a?
Oh yes.
It's everyone's trying to get your.
I think yes, because you know what, artists. They do it. They have to do it. They want to do it, I think. And the people out there around them know that. And they take a piece of, hey, I can make you famous.
Right.
And that's why I said things only really started happening for me when I didn't care to be famous anymore.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, all this stuff happens. Oh, how about this? How about this? And I didn't care. And all of a sudden, it starts happening. I don't know if that's a trick or just... because I don't do it anymore. It doesn't matter to me. And it's the negativity around with the critics of people.
So okay, let's start. That's another topic we talked about, and just in general, like you're out there, you're putting your art out there, you're putting your music out there, you're putting your theatrical talents out there, and then it's not easy to do, right? And you put your life and your dedication into this, and your mind, and all the hours and time to evolve to a certain point. You wake up one day, say you're 35, and you put all these blood, sweat, and tears out, and what do you read and what do you hear?
Oh, negative.
So what goes on?
Negatives.
You can start from the early days of being 15 all the way. Just some of the things that stick out in your mind that you've taken pride in, and maybe people just tried to shoot down.
I have the joke when I was a little kid, and when my mother got me a robot costume. We still joke about this today. It's what we say when all this stuff happens. And it was a store-bought costume, and we were in the parade, and Mr. Pep, the principal, was looking for the winners, and he's walking down and he's reading. And he said, now I'm looking for a robot. Now, these people who won were the ones who had all the money.
Right.
What I'm saying is, at that age, I was shown immediately what the whole business is.
Yeah.
It's about, the show, the money. They were looking for these store-bought or big-time costumes, right? And I had, the checkout counter, the little square map.
Sure.
And he's walking. And he says, "Oh, I'm looking for a robot." And I jumped out of line. Mr. Pep, I'm the robot.
Yep.
And he looked at me and laughed and he smiled. And he said, "No, son, not you. Get back in line." So that's been the funny thing about my whole career. That's
Right.
what we always say when something goes wrong. Like, here's a record. Oh, no, son, not you. Get back in line. We keep saying that same line for everything that happens. No, son, not you. Get back in line. It's like you're almost sometimes. It's so hard to try to get your stuff out there. There's a lot of negativity around it, just stamping you down. Critics, people who've never done anything in their life, be the first one to criticize you. I mean, when I did my book, I'm not a writer. I never claimed to be. I just tell stories. I mean, the reviews, scathing. Like I would have all these great reviews, and then Amazon would take them down, and they would say, "Well, they must not be real."
But is there a one that sticks out as far as like?
There was one lady when I would have all these great reviews, and there was two.
Okay.
And basically, I should just end it all. I mean, I'm always thinking, if I don't like something, I know what it's be to be. I might tell you, hey, that movie, was horrible.
Yeah.
I am not gonna log in and
Well, people
personally
go-
attack
yes.
that artist.
Oh, yes.
And this is what they were doing. They're personally attacking me. You can't write, character development. This is a horrible story. This is a waste. 1 star is a stretch. I mean, these are the things. And I was like, oh man, that really hurt.
And that's back then when you don't have the comments and the ease of it. I mean, you have to take a little bit more time back, maybe a couple, even 5-10 years ago. But now anybody with a keyboard and it's just it pours.
And why do they feel that that's necessary?
Why?
What
And
is it about them?
That's what I don't understand.
It's like I always say, like, well, where's yours? Where's your book?
That is,
you didn't
and
write?
that mindset might get you personally through it. Like, you look at them and go, well, they don't have nothing.
Well, I
out
walked
there.
away because you're supposed to get a certain amount of reviews, and then when you cross like 50, then it gets to the next level of tier, and then Amazon starts to promote it, right? So all of a sudden, I'm at 46, 40. I'm like, it's happening, man. And they're like, and all of a sudden, the next day, it's 16.
Oh, man.
And so I sent them an email. Oh, well, they had some algorithm. So if someone liked the Roosters Facebook page, they consider that, oh, you must know them. I said, well, also in other words, the person who wanted me to jump off a cliff, why are they legitimate? Maybe they have some weird thing about
What
me.
if they like the hen, and the hen's the competitor of
You
the
know, who
rooster?
knows? You don't know.
Like, why are they available? And
So
that's-
I abandoned the Amazon push. I was just like, well, I'm not going to compete with this. So that's when we turned to a script. And you know what? It won first place at Cannes, and now we're going to shoot it, and we're super psyched. And again, it's not that it doesn't affect you. You're going to have negativity, and it hurts.
And they say sometimes you can take the positive from the negativity and read through the theme of it, but some of them are just so vicious for no reason, no apparent reason.
You know what
at all.
I do? I take the people, if they have the guts to put their names, they become characters in my next project.
I love that approach. You said that before about some of the things that you've chosen to do with maybe people who realize what's going on.
Yeah, I'll get you.
Some of your artwork.
Watch this.
I really like that approach. It's like if you can't really. Sometimes it's not. You have to take the high road, right? The high road just gets so grueling, right? Because you could stay on the high road all the time, but that's a great subtle way to get weave it into your art.
Yeah.
Rather than standing up with 2 middle fingers, throw those 2 middle fingers into your art somewhere.
And like I said, it hurts. I don't like it. Even that you can get 5 stars or this is great or how great. It's the little negatives that take it down. I think that's a human. I don't see how anybody can just some people can, like these politicians or something, that can get destroyed all day long. I don't know if I can do that.
I think people could become numb at it at a certain level, but I also think, as an artist, it's a little different. Like maybe politicians are paid to represent certain people, business people are paid to represent. When you have your own personal art, it's almost like you're putting a piece of yourself out there. So when you see the negativity, that you take it personally, and that's the hard thing to get over.
How do you not take it personally? It came out of your head. It's your baby. It's your brainchild.
Sure.
And so how do you not? Well, you kind of like say, give yourself morning time, and then just, hey, you're talking about someone, you're not going to let someone who has what? Nothing to their name, and you're gonna let them affect you. Does this still affect me? I I remember these people's names. The two negatives that are killing me. I remember what happened when they took away my positive reviews. For no reason. I keep fighting them with, okay, but
And it's
let's
so
let it go.
easy to sit on the outside, be like, "Oh, don't pay attention to that." Everybody will tell you that from the outside, and you could smirk and nod and say, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." But at the end of the day, when you're like, "Damn, man, that,"
No, it hurt me. It hurt me, and things were low. You felt like, I'm trying these things, and it's like, no, son, not you, get back in line. Once again, and then the phone rings, and you're on TV, and I was like, oh. So that's why acting's so great, because it's like a little bit of that recognition, even though it's a little bit of recognition, like, oh, you are an artist. I saw you on I was sitting in the living room and I saw you on TV, so you must be an artist. When realistically, that part of it has nothing to do with any of this art that's being.
So has any of the, I know we talked, when I first came in here, I said, oh, you want to play the guitar? And you kind of like, you seem to be like, yeah, I'm done with that.
It's not that, and I still do, and I bring it into all my projects. The songs from my bands. In my web series that closes with one of the best songs we've ever done with Johnny on the Pony. Can't Forget About You. It's huge. If I had a bunch of kids that are 17 years old, a band, I would give it to them. They'd be famous tomorrow. But no, it's not that. It's just that I guess I don't want to be the old warrior, sitting there. How great I used to be. Who cares?
Right.
I'd rather you ask not what I did, but what are you doing
Right.
tomorrow? I'll be on TV 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
I hear you.
I'm going to shoot I'm going to be a filmmaker. How does that happen?
But so and what I was trying to drive at here, you don't have much desire to sit down, write a song, put it out.
It hurts my ears.
Yeah.
I damaged my ears from standing in front of those things.
Wow.
And it's to the point where I have to wear an earplug in my ear to play acoustic guitar. It's pain. Yeah. And it was it was the last band, the Big Guitar Army, that did it. I know it. And
So so that's interesting, because they always, you hear a lot of that in general, like.
so it takes the fun out. You understand what I'm saying? So instead of me,
Completely does,
yeah,
obviously.
to play with earplugs, I can't feel my guitar anymore. And what I'm saying is, I'm not letting that. Like I said, I don't let something that happens make the end of your story. Yeah, I still play, but no, I can't stand in
Right.
front of a stack anymore.
It's just not the direction you're going to go in.
No.
But that's experience in itself is going to lend to everything else you touch, obviously.
You have to be careful. You have to protect yourself. Have fun, but don't. You can't tell a kid anything because they won't listen to you.
No doubt. So we talked about. I always like to ask what you're currently doing. What's currently in your mind these days?
We're going to shoot Roosters.
Yes?
We're going to take the
Okay.
book, and I wanted to make. I can't afford to do the film. It's a big location. We've had 12, 13 companies that have the script right now. But until that phone rings, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to wait and say,
Right.
oh, I always said, don't make the film that you want to make the
Right.
one you can. So I can sit around and wait for money, or I can do it.
Right.
I'd rather do it.
Why not?
So I just figure I'll just do it as a play. I know plays, I know theater, I know how to make that work, and I'm going to make it. I'm going to finish the web series. That campy thing, but I'm going to make this like a Dark Shadows, Masterpiece Theater, shot as a play. You can get rid of all your location money because you don't need it. The audience, once they understand it's a play, so you've just narrowed down your finances to just talent and a location and some great minds that want to do it. And we're going to do it as a series, I think, because I still think it's a series, because we have written for many books. Me and my father, we know what comes next.
What do you need? What are you looking for? Like what
Location.
location? So you need
I
a
need-
and what do you have in your mind?
Well, I want to shoot it on a stage, on a theater or a barn that I can create a set around, a minimal set.
Okay.
So I need an executive producer
There
that
you
has
go.
a barn,
Right.
says, hey, yeah, okay, you can do that.
Okay.
And once I have location, everything else will fall.
And
We
so-
have we're ready to go.
How about talent? How do you find? How would you go about finding talent? Or is it,
I try it locally.
Okay.
I'll go on Backstage is how I was found.
Okay.
And there's a lot of actors out there that are non-union, decent, that are like me in my position, and that are affordable and have some talent that have not been discovered, and it's not easy. This is not there's some talent that's going to have to be in this one, but I get to star in it. So that takes care of one person.
There you go.
I get to play the ghost.
So
That's
maybe
I can't wait.
spend a little time on just that, the sort of the atmosphere of acting in general. I mean, so you've been down the line with this one, and that's why I think we talked in the last episode about you know what you're doing, right? What's going on.
I guess, yeah.
How do you see the difference in actors? I mean, for the viewer who has never been on a stage and tried to act, everybody, the actors look the way they're supposed to because they've been sorted out. But what sets someone apart from somebody else in the talent pool of acting? That you've seen, maybe. I don't. It's a big question, but there's a guy that comes off the street and says, "Oh, I can act," and he's boom, and then you're like, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
To the person who is like, there's that naiveness maybe that people think, "Oh, I'm an actor," and then maybe some people have it naturally.
I think it's different for everybody. I mean, some people will say, unless you go to school.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm part of the improv.
No, I've never. I've had some stuff in college and stuff. It's just I don't know why, but it's different for every person. And I set out not to be a thespian.
Right.
That's not for me.
But this is
I play myself. I think if you can play yourself and you're comfortable with yourself, I think that's the trick. It's like that's how I do it. It's just like I walk on a set, and I remember when I did an audition for a director in New York, and I came down there to read for somebody. He's like, "Wow, that's better. That's better than the real guy." So they cast me in the thing, and it was a lead part, and he thought I was joking because we're on set, and he says to me, "Oh, I'm so glad we had to do a bad night, and it was tough." And he walked in, and I did it in one take. He was like, "Oh, I couldn't believe it was so great, Brian. Blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, I do pretty good playing myself," and he laughed, but I was dead serious.
Right.
I just played myself.
Right.
I wasn't trying to be something I can't be.
And that's what I was kind of alluding to, is that when you're being casted or you're being maybe looked at or you want to be an actor, it's filling the role, right, that is needed. So whether you are making that role from someone or you are acting like yourself, it's almost just like you did, own it, walk into it, and this is what I am, and if they like me, take it. And then acting is just show up and be yourself, because that role fits you perfectly.
Once you get past looking at the camera,
right,
and say, "Oh my God, these lights are on, these people," and you have that. Once this is okay,
right,
it's like nothing.
Nothing.
It's like, I mean, I tried it once during the height of Sister Carol when I was in my late 20s. I said, "Well, I know what I'm going to go to New York and go to this casting call, And I go in, and I'm sitting there, and I'm listening to these things, and I was able to put things in my head always as a kid growing up, and I would absorb movies, right? So I'm listening to, and I can hear the auditions in the room, and the guy is trying to get this kid to do something, and he's like reading lines, he's reading lines, and I realized this is on the waterfront. It's the car scene. Marlon Brando tells his brother, "What did I get? One-way ticket to Palookaville." I know the scene.
Right.
So I go in there, I don't need the script.
Yeah.
So I do this. All I pretended to be was Marlon Brando in that scene. He goes, "Oh my God, you're a lead." Blah, 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 blah. I was just like, well, I know the movie.
But it's interesting.
But I squanched that.
Sure.
They offered me a gig, and I didn't want to travel because the band was happening.
Right.
So I mean, hindsight, yeah, okay, I wish I would have done that, but it worked out.
So maybe non-traditional method. What you said you're going to be looking for some actors then. Maybe
I am looking for some actors that want to be in a horror flick.
So how would people get a hold of you in case they're watching this?
Oh, the website, refusetowalktheline.com.
Refusetowalktheline.com. I'll put the link in there.
Yeah, you can find me there. Type in my name, you'll find me. Vadim, Vadimski, whatever you want to use.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the synopsis of it, or is that later to come?
The synopsis is it's a dream I had in my late 20s. I wrote, or 30. I wrote the original story when I was 32.
And this is the one that won the award, right?
Yeah.
So this is
the
real deal.
This is the real deal. Won first place at Cannes.
Okay.
For thriller suspense. and it's just it's a story about this, the secret society, which there's skull and bones. There's a lot of them that are real, right? And all of our presidents have been part of it, and blah 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 blah. And it's about the top, and they rise all the way to the top. It's a secret society with a family, and his son comes back, who's anti that. It's the right versus the left, top versus the bottom type of thing. His father is dead, who's recently died, so his son is the heir of Roosters, the secret society. He's the head rooster. He doesn't want it. He falls in love with this girl that comes out to take care of the neighboring house's grandmother. And his dead father comes back and haunts him. And he tries to get him to realize that you have to carry on Rooster. So it's this battle between him and his dead father, who has the corpse that we appear is his dead wife strapped to his leg as he drags her around the house.
And that's where I'm going. I'm leading you somewhere because I've seen some of your work as far as
it's crazy.
Your ability to capture horror is phenomenal.
And it's not that horrific. I try not to make it that horrific. I think it's
and that's maybe not the right word, because it's not blood and gore.
No,
it's just this.
It's
an eerie
insinuated
a little bit.
I mean, there's some serious stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, when they torture. What it is it's a top secret society which in today's market, you believe it. I mean, they get away with anything they want. They torture people to the death. And cannibalize them basically is right. What they do, and they do whatever they want, and get away with it. And his son's against it. It's one of the greatest scenes I love about it is the father says, because he's yelling with his ghost, and he's trying, and his father says, because he says to his father, "You're just a predator," and his response is like, without the predator there can be no prey. The prey can't survive without the predator and to weed the thin out. Right?
Sure.
So it's like this story is really, you could pick any side or whatever, and they're right on all sides.
Awesome.
Which I like to do. I like to have fun with things like that. Like, sure. I'm not into the heaviness of like my ideology. I just don't buy it anymore. It's like, I just kind of show what the reality is and let you talk amongst yourselves. Like so it's called Roosters, okay. And it's we're really psyched because I didn't think I was going to be able to do it because it's too big of a movie, big budget.
Right.
But I said, if I shoot this as a play, if I make it a play, take it on the road as a play,
sure.
Who knows where this goes? Website, YouTube miniseries,
right.
Whatever.
Many ways to do it.
Many ways to do it. It's not. I can't sit around and wait. Don't sit around and say, I got this great story, only if.
Yeah.
I don't accept that anymore.
Right.
Because it was only if for the past couple of years since we've done it, because I was like, oh, well, we'll get the people they downloaded the script, they want it, obviously. Well, until they write a check,
right.
It's still mine.
Gotcha.
So I'm not going to wait.
All right, well, maybe next time we'll check back with the progress of the Roosters and see what's going on.
Maybe we'll be on set together shooting it.
Yeah, there you go. You never know what's going to happen. This will see. But appreciate the time again. And episode 2, that's that.
Great. We'll talk again.
All right. Cool. This is fun.